Hey guys, Collar here, bringing you Game 5, the ace matchup between Wemade Fox and CJ in this so far very exciting series in the Pro League, played 2 weeks ago. And we have a Protoss versus Protoss lineup here for the ace matchup. On the left we have Hero, a Protoss player of course, playing for Fox, and on the right we have Much playing for CJ. And I actually don't know much about Hero. He actually hasn't played that many games, only about a dozen games, and his statistics are actually not that great. So I'm a little surprised he's been placed in the ace spot instead of a player like Mind or Nada. Much, of course, was an OSL winner last year, an aggressive player, and so I would say he's the early favorite here, or I guess I would expect him to win here in this Protoss versus Protoss matchup. And the map is Blue Storm here, and we have in Teal at the 7 o'clock Hero spawning on the 7 o'clock, and we have Much spawning in White at the 1 o'clock position, 2-player map. And we could be seeing some sort of early proxy gateway or an early rush here in this map, because there are a lot of places to hide a hidden pylon or a proxy pylon and a hidden gateway. But so far it seems like neither player has moved any probes out, so it looks like neither of them is going to take that risk just yet. So we might be seeing sort of more conservative builds in the beginning, or perhaps a fast expand build even. I would expect Much to be the favorite here. He is quite an aggressive player and has much more of an accomplished record, but on Blue Storm, a lot of things can happen, and with a mirror matchup, really it comes down to micro, I think, at a lot of points, and to just being able to kill a couple of workers from the other side in the beginning. Something like that could change the game entirely. And we're seeing a pylon being built inside of Hero's base, and a pylon also being built right next to the Nexus for Much. So both players definitely focusing on their economy at the beginning. It looks like neither is going up for a very fast rush, at least. We'll see at what points their builds diverge, if at all. Gateway being built for Much now in his base. And I have to say, the series so far has had a lot of very interesting plays. Nada versus Xellos, I have to say, was the best game of the series for me. Just such a long and intense matchup. And Xellos winning at the end just from a great comeback, losing his entire main base, and yet managing to do so much damage to Nada that just Nada could not recover, having lost so many expansions. And it looks like we're actually seeing a divergence here. Hero has built 2 gateways, whereas Much has gone for his assimilator first, so it looks like Hero's going to be going for a Zealot rush here, and he will need to effect some damage onto Much's base to make up for the fact that he didn't go for his early gas and early tech. And it'll be interesting to see if Much decides to build a Zealot here. It looks like he's getting a Cybernex core, pretty standard, very standard build from him to start off with. But if he doesn't build that early Zealot, the first Zealot and the second and third Zealot getting into his base could do a lot of damage if they manage to pin the first Dragoon that's produced, or to kill a couple of these probes. Anything like that could do a lot of damage to Much's base and really just swing the game completely to Hero's side. And it looks like it looks like the probe just Much has just sent out his probe to scout, and looks like he hasn't managed to get into the base yet. And now he's going to see the first Zealot, but the first Zealot actually warding away the probe. Great play by Hero there, or just a good coincidence, because now Much still won't be able to get a scout into Hero's base, and Hero now getting his Cybernetics core also. So I guess he didn't decide to commit to an all-out Zealot rush. He did decide to get some tech up, but of course his Dragoons will come out later. On the other hand, though, he will have a Zealot out, a couple of Zealots out into Much's base, and Much has built a Zealot of his own, I believe, trying to kill the scouting probe. And looks like actually Hero's not going to commit to doing a doing a Zealot rush here. I don't see any additional Zealots being built, so it was interesting that he went 2-gate before going for the gas and the Cybernex core. I feel that if he doesn't do a little bit of damage here, he will be behind here, behind Much significantly. And I'm not sure exactly why he decided to go for that. Perhaps he was afraid of Much rushing him, but still, that just doesn't really make sense. Going 1 gateway into Cybernex core is quite a safe build on this map, I feel, against another Protoss player, and especially going 2-gate without a rush, it doesn't really make sense. Looks like two Zealots out for Hero, and a Dragoon and a Zealot out for Much. Much is going to push down with his Dragoon here, it seems, and he is going to try to get another scout once again into Hero's base, and he will get his probe into Hero's base. He's going to see, so far, range upgrade looks like for the Cybernex core. And the first Dragoon out for Hero. Looks like Much still is going to try to march his Dragoon in. I'm not sure what kind of damage he's going to be able to do. Looks like, yeah, he is about to retreat here. And he has blocked his choke point, so he could be thinking about doing an early expansion here, or going for some fast tech here. Either option is possible right now. Although I would favor an early expansion at this point, just to maximize his tech advantage. But it looks like actually he's going for another gateway here, so perhaps just trying to make sure he won't get hurt too badly by an early push from Hero here. Looks like Hero's going for a robotics facility, so once again the build's diverging quite significantly. And looks like actually Much hasn't produced too much in his base yet. There is a pylon sort of out in the middle of left of his base. I wonder if he's going to try to put something there, perhaps some hidden tech like a Citadel of a Dune. And looks like, yeah, just Hero just going for sort of a standard robotics facility here. We'll see if he decides to build an observatory or a robotics support bay first. I think at this point, a robotics support bay would be quite smart. Just get those Reavers in, and you know, just hope that Much hasn't gone for DTs. Of course, either option is viable. It looks like Hero continuing to march towards Much's base, and I'm just a little surprised that Much doesn't have more forces on the ground here. I don't know. He hasn't suffered any damage, and economically, so I do expect his macro to be a little better here. But it looks like Hero actually has one more Dragoon and a few more Zealots than Much does. And it looks like Much finally getting his robotics facility up. So a little surprising here, considering the fact that the observatory is already up for Hero, that Much has been behind so much. Now we're seeing Hero, I think, no, Much about to set up his expansion. And so far, no sign of Hero doing that. Hero's now retreated back to his base. I think he's seen the incoming Dragoons from Much, so really just a cat and mouse game here. Both players trying to set themselves up for the best position. And really, in Protoss versus Protoss, especially in Dragoon Zealot battles, position is really everything. Whoever has the better concave of Dragoons and the better position for their Zealots will win those battles, even if they are slightly behind the beginning. And of course, whoever wins the battle will wipe out the remaining forces, or at least force them back and force them to take a lot of damage while retreating. So really, your positioning is everything. So both players are jockeying for position here, and the ramps will become quite critical, I feel, on Blue Storm. If one of the players can get a better stand on a ramp and force the other player to attack up the ramp, or if they commit a mistake like doing that, they will have a big advantage. In any case, Nexus is going up for both players at their expansions, and Much continuing just to both players went for the observatories actually, so we're not seeing any early Reavers from either player. A very sort of conservative build from both players, actually. With the exception of Much's early 2-gate, actually both players have played very conservatively so far, and I wouldn't say either player has an advantage right now. Much has a good defensive position there with his Dragoons, but it looks like the same can be said for Hero there at the bottom of his ramp. And Hero is going to get a scout now into Much's base with his observer. We'll see if Much has an observer coming around to try to snipe off that observer. In any case, it looks like Hero's expansion is about to be done. I think Much got his expansion a little bit before. I'm not sure exactly, but the timing's so close I don't think it matters. Actually, no, Much actually getting his expansion a little bit slower, so actually Much being a little bit slower overall in this game. I'm still a little surprised for that, considering he did go for his gas first and got his cybernetics core first. It's kind of interesting, actually. It looks like Much will be able to pick off the first observer entering his base, though. Good play by him. And looks like Hero, I think, looks like Much has gotten an observer into Hero's base. And both players sort of, it looks like Hero could be thinking about getting a second expansion, but really, I think whoever goes for that will probably need to do a little bit of an attack before, or just to make sure that the opponent doesn't rush in while that expansion is going up. So far, we've seen very little harassment, and just in general, very little combat, coming up to the 8th minute now. So far, very withdrawn game, actually. It's surprising given it's on Blue Storm and it's a Protoss versus Protoss match. Citadel of a Dune finally going up for Much here, and we'll see if he decides to go for Templar tech right away, or if he gets Zealot legs, a couple more Zealots, but actually I expect him to go in for Templars. And actually a battle might be shaping up here. Much does have a good position on top of the ramps in front of the second expansion of Heroes, and if Hero should decide to attack up this ramp, he'll be in big trouble. And Hero is positioning himself below the ramp, so he's got a good concave there, actually. And I do believe he has more units than Much does, surprisingly. Much bringing a couple more Zealots down there, and I think whoever decides to get Templar first, though, and gets a couple of Storm off, will have a big advantage in the big battle. It should be coming quite soon. But so far, it looks like another Observer. This time was Much's Observer getting picked off. Much has actually gotten his second expansion up, but it looks like at the same time Hero has also. So far, I would actually say this is completely a mirror match. Still, as much as a mirror match can continue at the 10th minute, it is still a mirror matchup, a mirror build. And both players, it will come down to micro. It will come down to placement of storms and perhaps some storm drops. Really, I think that's what's going to come down to. And once again, another Observer getting sniped. So both players are just trying to prevent each other from seeing their Templar archives. I think that's definitely something they don't want the other to see. And we'll see if either player decides to go for Dark Templar first. I don't think that's necessarily a wise option unless they have some